Hi, I'm Cody Anderson, one of the pastors at Parker United Methodist Church. I have been doing church ministry for over 20 years now. It first started off as a youth ministry position. I didn't really know what I was doing, had no clue what youth ministry even really looked like. But what I began to find out as I took classes and I began to lead was that there is something inside of all of our youth that is a desire to help other people. Anytime we would do events that were about serving others or learning about the needs of others while raising money, my kids would show up in droves. Became this moment for them to be able to engage their faith in an authentic way and to be able to understand what it means to truly serve others. I bet if you look at your own life, you're going to see the same thing. The moments that you were active in your faith, those moments that you were serving others, are sometimes the moments that really help us get a stronger sense of who we are in Christ. There's something inside of us that God has given to each of us a need to serve, right? We've been given gifts and talents that are unique, and this desire to serve others, to put those into action, are a huge part of who we are as people. But a lot of times it gets lost. It gets lost in the busyness of life. It gets lost in the things that we feel like we have to do, the ways that we need to take care of our families or ourselves. And we often walk by those who are in need. On Sunday, we talked about, as United Methodists, that we have this call to serve others. It is deep within our roots, reaching out beyond our walls, seeing the needs of others around us, and serving in ways that will make a difference in their lives and in the community lives as well. So what does that really look like for us? Well, as United Methodists, we have different organizations that we work with in partnership to be able to do that. There's United Methodist Committee on Relief, UMCOR, that we talk about a lot, but it is a really major organization from the United Methodist Church that has gone into communities and helped meet the needs of those who are struggling with natural disasters. So right now, as we have all these tornadoes that are happening, floods that are happening in our country, UMCOR are boots on the ground, people through our faith who are meeting the needs of those in need. And we often give money to that organization to help be able to further that work. But there's a difference between giving money and boots on the ground. There's a difference between giving money and not really knowing who that money goes to, or going into those places and serving those who are in need, seeing their faces and hearing their stories. It's those moments that change our lives, that have an impact on our faith. That's what we see with our youth. I'm getting ready with Miss Noel to go and take a group of 13 youth on a mission trip. And every year our youth go on a mission trip, somewhere where they get to put their work into a community. They're able to reach out and to hear stories from other people. They're able to apply their faith in new ways. And we find that these mission trips are life transformation moments for our kids. But what about us? What are the life transforming moments that happen for us? Those moments that not only transform our faith but also our lives and our communities. The ways that we be able to grow and to nurture relationships and understand what people are going through. Well, on Sunday, Pastor Laura shared with us that popular parable of the Good Samaritan. It's one that we all have probably heard at some point, whether we have grown up in the church or not. A story about somebody who was attacked on the side of the road, and a priest and a Levite who pass by on the other side and walk by, but it is a Samaritan who stops and helps that person out. There's a lot of ways that we can look at that story, right? We can look at that story as the religious people getting too caught up in their laws to help out that person who is in need. We can look at it as the religious people who were too busy with their lives to stop and to help this one person. But Martin Luther King Jr., on the night before he was assassinated, talked about the parable of this Good Samaritan. And he gave a little bit of a different spin on it. He talked about how this is a really dangerous road that this person was attacked on, and how the religious people, the priest and the Levite, they might have been afraid for themselves, right? They were worried about what would happen to them if they stopped and helped this person. Would there be danger for them, not only in reputation, but also physical danger? And the difference between them and the Samaritan is when the Samaritan saw that person, he didn't think about what would happen to him. He thought about, if I don't stop to help this person, what will happen to them? See, it's a different change in the way that we see things. It's a different way that we see the world and see the humanity of other people. We can often get caught up in ourselves, right? If we have too much to do or not enough to give, or even our own safety, what will happen to us? And that is a very normal question for us to ask, right? Worrying about ourselves, that is an important concern. But also that question is there for us as Christians. What will happen to this person if I don't stop and help? I think that is the true definition of loving others as ourselves, right? That those two greatest commandments, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love others as yourself. So if I look at another person as myself, if I'm loving that person as myself, I'm thinking about what will happen if I don't stop to help. It's a way that we can begin to engage our neighbors. It's a way that we can begin to engage our communities, to serve others in a way that might bring abundant life and hope into our world. As we look at our neighborhood, it could be the person across the street, the young widow who just had their whole life upended, and what will happen if I don't reach out to that person? It could be the person in our neighborhood who can't afford their grocery bills. And what will happen if I don't step in and help? Or a person who can't pick their weeds, right? Or mow their lawn. What will happen if I don't step in and help? And if we begin to adopt that phrase, that mentality for us, what we're going to find out is then when we step in to help, that we are going to be transformed. Just like we are giving a blessing to somebody else, we are providing hope or help or whatever is needed, we also are going to find that we are forever transformed by that experience. When we think about what would happen to that person if I don't help, that also changes who we are inside and begins to help us have a faith that is grounded in God's love and goodness. So as we think about the ways that United Methodists are called to serve, to go outside of our walls, to meet the needs of people around us, how is God calling you? Calling you to see the needs of people around you and to put things on hold to help reach out and meet those needs. How is God calling you into this life-transforming moment that will help ground your faith in a new way and help not only bless those who you are helping, but also will bless your own faith? Let us, as United Methodists, be a people of action, a people of service, a people who see the needs of those around us and ask the hard question, what will happen if we don't help? Let us be like that Good Samaritan who lays down all of the worries and concerns and steps in with action and love.